Tua could end badly for us. I just wanted to be dramatic. Let's check it out.
Tua is making a regression. He's not looking like the confident
What's going
Tua.
now?
If that first read's not there's a panic on this offense. And I don't know why it's happening year 4 still.
That dude can do literally anything he wants. So definitely different skill set for me. I can't do half of what he does when it comes to running the ball and any of that.
Through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, we've learned a lot about the way the next 4 months are going to go. But I don't think there's a bigger indicator for the rest of the 2025 season than the play of Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. For years, Tua has been easily the most confusing quarterback in the entire NFL. It's been nearly impossible to tell whether he's among the better quarterbacks in football or if he's to a point where he's completely replaceable. But I think he's finally given us our answer this season. So real quick before we get to the mic check 1 2 1 2. What's
You
going
don't know,
on,
I just
everybody?
skipped.
Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami
Hopefully I'm
Dolphins
actually a good
have had
editor.
arguably the worst possible start to their 2025 season. And let me tell you why. Going into week 1, I think the goal for Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins was to come out hot and give them some early momentum to try and sneak into the playoffs, especially considering how weak the AFC East is outside of the Josh Allen-led Buffalo
That is
Bills.
mad
But
true. The
I think
AFC
safe to say that
East
Miami's
is
playoff
terrible.
hopes were dead just one game into the season.
East for Sites
In
could
week
go
1 against an
and win the
Indianapolis
AFC
Colts
East.
team that had zero expectations after Daniel Jones was named the starting quarterback, Miami got absolutely manhandled with a final score of 33-8. Now, granted, Miami's defense didn't do its best at stopping Jones, but there was a much bigger problem. You see, historically, Miami was known for their high-octane, speedy offense that was coached by the offensive mastermind, Mike McDaniel. And honestly, I think we can say each and every year, you can see the effect that Miami is having on their head coach. Mike McDaniel's expertise.
Yo, what the hell? I knew he didn't look like that. Oh my gosh. He has totally turned into a Florida nigga now.
Activities might be catching up to him. Miami's offense only scored 8 measly points. Tua finished this game with 114 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, showing some serious signs of regression and becoming the laughingstock of the league for a week. Now, the next week, however, Miami's offense looked a lot better. In what would eventually be a loss to the New England Patriots, Miami did put up 27 points and looked a lot more promising than they did in week 1. Tua also threw for 315 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception on really solid efficiency in what was a really big bounce back week for him on paper. But unfortunately for Tua and unfortunately for the Miami Dolphins, football is way more than just reading numbers on a stat.
I'm not gonna lie. I low-key forget the Miami Dolphins are a team sometimes. Like, I'll be like, I know of the Miami Dolphins, duh. But, like, sometimes I'll be like, dang, there is, like, a team called the Miami Dolphins. Like, if you think of, like, whom I get drafted by, I don't ever think somebody's going to get drafted to the Dolphins. I don't know why that just popped up in my head. But I don't know. I don't know how to explain it
Despite
either.
putting up solid numbers in his second start of the year, Tua didn't look much better than he did against
Cable management
Indianapolis
just
on
fell.
film, which should be a huge concern among the Miami Dolphins organization and its fan base, regardless of what Tua himself has to say.
Trying to fix my cable management chat.
There's alerts going on
come
right
on
now.
down again.
With, man, the season's over. I think the alerts are more on, like, dude, what are we doing that we've done all these other years to start fast to help us get to where we want to go?
Now I'm going to show you some film from Miami's game against New England to show you exactly why Tua's performance on paper doesn't tell the whole story. It actually shows a completely opposite narrative. I want you to bear in mind that Tua was facing a newly rebuilt New England Patriots defense without its best player, Christian Gonzalez. And funny enough, the first play I'm going to show you in this video is a play that didn't even count. And if it did, Tua's counting stats would look a lot worse, and the outcome of the game may have been completely flipped. Early in the first quarter, Miami was in a 3rd and 5 situation on their own 30-yard line, looking to answer back after Drake May and the New England Patriots offense took the lead. Lining up in the shotgun with trips to his
I remember
right,
watching
just
this
a
video for
slot
Flight.
receiver to Tua's left, there was a lot of room to work with, considering they were on the left hash and the trips receivers would most likely be running their routes that way. Before the snap, Devon Achane motions to the left out of the backfield, and this play gets underway. The first thing I want you to notice about this play is how unbelievably clean this pocket is. Tua had all day to throw the ball on this play, so you can't blame this on a lack of protection. The next thing I want to point out is the route concept on the field. New England runs a simple cover 2 on this play, so this concept works pretty well. Achane sits in the backfield as a check down, while the slot receiver on that side of the field, Jalen Waddle, runs a curl, creating a decision for the flat corner to make. Then on the other side of the field, tight end Julian Hill runs a short in. Tyreek Hill runs an interesting variation of a dig from the slot position where he makes a late cut due to Marcus Jones.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing
that. And second-year wideout Malik Washington
low key, I could play in the NFL if Tua was at quarterback.
With 3 cuts to distract the defense as much as possible.
You can
Because
put me
the main read is on the level
corner.
concept created by Hill's route in the middle of the field.
point.
However, this doesn't work for
embarrassing.
2 reasons. One, Tyreek took way too long to cut, taking away the need for a decision from a zone defender in the middle of the field.
Playing this
And
game,
2, Jalen Waddle
looking
starts
for.
to cut
I'm
towards the
gonna
traffic
play it
once
with y'all
Tua doesn't
soon.
look his way
I
on
got
the
my
curl.
stuff
Tua's
ready. I'm about to
development on this
record it.
play
I
is
just gotta
simple.
wait
He
for the
looks
weekend
down
when I have
Julian
enough
Hill
time.
as
I'm
the
gonna
first
record a
read,
video
and then moves his
of
eyes over
a
to
game
Tyreek once he doesn't
for
like
y'all.
what
I
he
might
sees.
even record it
The
after
thing
this
is,
video.
though,
Who
since
knows?
Tyreek took so long to make his cut, that route hadn't developed by the time Tua made his way over to his second read. Still, and this is where this becomes Tua's fault, Tua decides to stare down Tyreek and force the throw, despite it not being there whatsoever. And to make things even worse, Tyreek started cutting up the field right before Tua started his throwing motion, leaving Patriots safety Jalen Hawkins alone in the middle of the field for the easiest pick of his life.
It's the
Now, this play
Dolphins.
came back due to a defensive penalty, but this could have been a crucial mistake from Tua and Tyreek both. Tyreek completely messed up Tua's progression, but the fact that Tua was so dead set on throwing Tyreek Hill the ball turned this from what would have been a negative play to an absolutely detrimental play. Tua even said himself that he's force-feeding Tyreek Hill, saying to the media, "We need a spark from the offense, and Reek, I'm coming to you. No matter what they do, you've got to make it right." That's not a good look. Funny enough, the next play I'm going to show you is a play that looks great on paper for both Tua and Tyreek, but was 100% curated by the latter. On the first drive of the second half, Miami looked to come out with a swing after being down at the break. But on 3rd and 13,
Sorry,
the
I had
chances
to
of that
stretch my
happening were
leg.
slim. That is, until this happened. Despite having 2 wide open checkdowns to
Never
his
mind,
right
we're
that
not.
most likely would have gotten
Oh,
Miami
snap.
the
Xbox
first down,
almost
Tua
fell.
decides to launch this ball deep to Tyreek Hill. He lets this ball go at his own 18-yard line. And
Xbox
once the
almost
camera
fell,
pans,
guys.
you see just how open Tyreek Hill is, and just
I don't know if
how
you'll
much
see my
space he's
cook-
created
my,
downfield from the
Chick-fil-A
2 New
with that.
England Patriots defenders nearby. However, this moonshot from Tua just completely dies in the air, forcing what should have been a jump ball, and most likely a New England Patriots interception considering the height difference between Hill and the defenders. Instead, Patriots cornerback Alex Austin completely overplays this, simply running by the ball in an attempt to make a play instead of tracking the ball and realizing that it went about 10 yards shorter than he expected it to. On top of that, Jalen Hawkins just gives up on the play for absolutely no reason, allowing Tyreek to come back to the ball and make a catch, resulting in a 47-yard completion, which is by far the longest play he's had in over a year. This ball was caught at the New England Patriots 30-yard line, making this a 52-yard throw in the air for Tua, which is 1 yard short of his career high for air yards in a single play. But that doesn't make this a good thing. This ball should have resulted in a turnover, and if Christian Gonzalez was playing, it most certainly would have been a turnover. And the fact that this is almost Tua's longest completion in the air in his career proves just how much of a noodle arm he truly has.
Having some talks
Yeah,
with
I
Reek
can
and
throw like
whatnot,
at least 60, 70
that if I do,
on like a bad day.
just
low
don't
key.
think that I'm gonna throw
So
it 80
that is
yards.
kinda like,
As you're running, just do your best to track it because you can
Sorry,
actually
guys.
stop. That
I mean, it's nothing against
I record
Tua.
when
He's
it's
just
already
not
late
that
at
type
night,
of
so it's
quarterback.
like,
Tyreek
I'm
Hill
sorry.
has always succeeded with quarterbacks that had rockets for arms. Well, primarily Patrick Mahomes. I mean, take a look at Justin Herbert, for example. Miami passed on Herbert in the 2020 draft for Tua, and this is what they're missing out on. This would have been perfect with Tyreek Hill. The longest completion in the air for Justin Herbert in his career is 63.8 yards. That's over a 10-yard difference. Even guys like Daniel Jones, who beat Tua's Dolphins to a pulp in week 1, are able to sling the rock 60+ yards down the field. The fact that this is as far as Tua can throw at maximum effort is a genuine concern for his future, and a genuine concern for Tyreek Hill's future as well, because that's where his bread and butter is. At this point, though, the deep ball may be the least of Tua's concerns right now, and you'll see why with this play. Late in the fourth quarter, on 4th and 9 at midfield with the game on the line, Tua needed to make a play. After Devon Achane motioned out to the right side of the line,
Where is he from? He's from some. I
and the
forgot
ball
where
was
he's from.
completely in his hands. The ball gets snapped, and all but one of his receivers start running downfield. field. The tight end Julian Hill stays back to help left tackle Patrick Paul block, and you'll see why this is so important in just a sec. Tua drops back, looking to his right, and from the looks of it, none of his wide receivers were open. To Tua's credit, he feels his rookie right tackle completely lose control of Harold Landry, and he steps up in the pocket to avoid a game-ending sack. As soon as he steps up, Julian Hill hands K'Lavon Chaisson off to Patrick Paul and breaks out from his check and release. Absolutely nobody's even in the vicinity of Hill when he breaks out, and if Tua were to find him here, he would have had the easiest first down of his life, plus more. Instead, Tua doesn't even bother looking away from the middle of the field and forces a throw into 3 receivers worth of traffic, getting the ball picked off before it even gets to his target by Marte Mapu, to all but hand the Patriots the game. Tua did absolutely everything right on this play up until the point where
guys,
he
I was playing this game and
Nothing
I
that happens before the throw matters if that's the throw you make, especially with a wide open check down to your left to extend the game and give your desperate team a fighting chance. This team is absolutely cooked if Tua can't get his stuff together. It doesn't matter how many...
No, the team is already cooked. It's the freaking Dolphins. How do we tell them? All I know is, like, Tua, he's a good quarterback, but it's like, he's okay. He's not a great... He's okay. So, like, you can't, like, that... He's actually good, and he's actually way better than Tua, so that's why we can actually, like, we're going to win a Super Bowl eventually. But, like, Tua, it's like, he's alright. But I don't know. Let me know how y'all feeling about Tua. I low-key think he's a good player. He just got a lot to work on still. But like, subscribe, comment. I'll see y'all in the next video.